Museo de las Americas in Denver calls attention to the diverse arts and cultures of the Americas, past and present. And when it comes to programming its exhibits, Museo is no stranger to examining controversial topics. Among those it's looked at, the Chicano movement and the environment. But in its 25-year history, the exhibit Detention Nation is likely its most politically charged. For it, museum executive director Maruca Salazar has taken a bold stance, calling the United States immigration policies, quote, broken. She framed the exhibit as a call to action in support of immigrant detainees.
Nobody never see what's going on in the detention.
But Douglas Menjivar witnessed firsthand what happens in immigrant detention facilities. The El Salvador native was held for 2 years after being detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Texas.
And now I stand outside, I want to explain a lot of people what's going on in the detention. This is my purpose.
To further that purpose, Menjivar joined Sinuelas, a group of activists and artists. Using detainees' stories and an artist's eye, they created Detention Nation, which simulates what life is like for undocumented immigrants held, many without due process, at detainment facilities in the United States.
These are actual people that have been affected.
To remind visitors of that, members of the collective, like artist Delilah Montoya, created ghost-like silhouettes to represent detainees.
I was interested in making a statement that wasn't necessarily documentary, but had an emotion or a feeling to it, where it began to suggest where the population was, where the detainees were, in that they're not here nor there. They were kind of caught in between the system itself.
Museo de las Americas in Denver is the second venue in the country to host the exhibit. It immerses visitors in the sights and sounds of a detention center, people wrapped in Mylar blankets, the murmur of voices, and doors clanking shut. Everything is under surveillance. Museum curator Maruca Salazar said the work is meant to emphasize the impact the immigration system can have on people.
Ancient relationships are very crucial, and migration patterns might be erased by humans, but they have been here for thousands of years. So we can't really say we have nothing to do, or this is not part of our culture, or this is not part of our historical tradition or memory. It is very much a part of us. Specifically here in Colorado, because Colorado is like a migration pattern. It's a place of transition between the West and the East. So right here at the center of the country, this is the place where we really need to pay attention to what's going on. If you have never been in a detention center, you truly experience the idea of incarceration. You know, one-tone floor, you know, wire fences, flashing cameras, picking up every movement that you do. All of those things impact you psychologically. And so when you leave here, you feel like you've been sitting in a very oppressive space.
That oppressive treatment still plagues former detainee Douglas Menjivar. He was sexually assaulted twice in detention and now suffers from PTSD. He described crowded conditions, limited access to medical care, and no privacy.
When you want to go for the bathroom or something, everybody see you what you do, and when you need to take a shower, everybody see you when you have to take a shower.
His account of the poor conditions are echoed in letters written by other detainees, which are included in the exhibit. One even described it as El Infierno, hell. Menjivar's time in detention was rife with uncertainty, which he said is typical for detainees. He didn't know when his case would be heard by a judge or if he would be released. One day, a guard simply presented him with a form written in English.
Sign this paper. I can sign because I don't know what is that, and it's in English. I don't speak very well English. Say, don't worry, this paper is for you get out for this right now. I don't believe her because it's ICE people, you know.
Ultimately, he signed the document and was released. But why was he released?
It's a good question. We don't know.
The former police officer does know he's afraid to return to his native El Salvador. Since his release from detention, he has secured a work permit and is awaiting a hearing with ICE.
I don't want people more to do assault sexual in the detention. Take care more immigrants, because in the detention, nobody take care of you.